My name is Jonas Thyni. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Tvinn, and I'm going to talk to you about one of the biggest challenges when it comes to fighting climate change. 50% of the world's emissions of greenhouse gases comes from transport and from the energy sector. So if we want to reach our environmental goals, then we need to convert or shift to renewable energy production and electrify our transport. But there's a very big challenge when it comes to electrification, and that is that the grid at many locations doesn't have the flexibility or the capacity to deliver the power that is needed to charge the vehicles or to electrify the industry. And this is the challenge that we at Tvinn are working on. And we develop smart energy systems that accelerate the world's transition to a fossil-free society. And our solution, Tvinn Nebula, is a smart energy platform that creates flexibility and unlocks capacity that can be used to charge more vehicles without any grid extensions. We can also reduce energy cost, and we can create new revenue streams from energy markets. So with the help of our system, we can create a so-called virtual power plant where we can monitor and control both producing and consuming energy resources. Like, for example, energy storages, solar production, or EV chargers. And then we can aggregate these distributed energy resources and we can offer them to the grid. And our focus is to use the available power smarter and at the same time support the energy grid. And by doing so, we can also create new revenue streams from energy markets, such as the flex markets, which where the DSOs are the customers, the local grid operators. And in Sweden, it's like Vattenfall, E.ON, or Ellevio. And they have the purpose of these markets is to solve capacity challenges in local and regional grids. And this market is active here in Uppsala, and I'm going to get back to that. But we can also offer balancing services to the TSOs and to the frequency balancing markets. And it is the TSOs that they are responsible for keeping the energy grid in balance. It always needs to be balanced between production and consumption. And to accomplish this, they procure flexible energy resources to keep the energy grid at 50 hertz and balance the grids at all times. And this has traditionally been the hydropower and the large industries that have been in this market and have been used to keep this balance. But since 2019, this market has opened up, and they now allow other types of energy resources in these markets, like chargers and energy storages. And this market is quite big, but even though almost no one knows about it, it has got a turnover of around 2 billion Swedish kronor each year, and it's expected to grow a lot with 1 billion more until 2024. So there's not a lot of flexibility needed, and we are ready to deliver this. And it's a lot of things happening in the energy sector in the whole of Europe, and to be able to unlock more capacity and more flexibility, they're also introducing a new role in the energy system called balance service provider. And we're aiming to taking this role, and this is a role that is similar in almost all EU countries. And our business model is based on a shared revenue model where we share the revenues from these energy markets with our customers, with the resource owners. And this can offer up to 50% better return on investment if you're going to invest in an energy storage. So it can make quite a big difference. We also offer smart charging software and energy management for controlling energy storages as a software as a service. And Uppsala is one of the cities in Sweden that have a capacity problem in their grid, and this limits the city's expansion and development. And we're working together with Uppsala municipality as an aggregator, and we help them to monitor and control different energy resources like heating pumps and cooling machines that can offer capacity to the flex market coordinate that can help the energy grid, the local energy grid in Uppsala, when they have problems with the capacity in the grid. And these energy resources are distributed in the city in different buildings, And we aggregate and coordinate the bidding of these resources on this market. And we also activate and monitor the resources there. And our system is modular and easy to integrate with. And in this case, we have both automatic control and manual control. So in one of the facilities, we have a cooling machine, and we're not allowed to control it remotely. So in this case, we have an SMS communication with the facility operator that activates a special scheme in their equipment. And in other facilities, we have automatic control. We have a couple of heating pumps that we control remotely with the help of our communication gateway. But we can also offer easy integration with different market platform. In this coordinate project, we integrate with E.ON's market platform Switch, but we can simply also integrate with other types of market platforms like Nodes or Svenska Kraftnät's platforms. And we just won an award. We're very happy with that, of course. Together with Uppsala Kommun, we were now awarded Ignite Sustainability Heroes 2021. So very proud of that. We're a really experienced team, and I come from a long background in the consultancy industry where I worked with product development services for industrial companies. My co-founder Jakob has an extensive experience from complex development of distributed resources, and he was former product manager at OAC Microtech, where he designed and developed satellite systems. Joachim Niemann, he's an energy engineer and works with software development and machine learning. And our chairman, Peter Forsberg, has got a long experience from the automotive industry and as an entrepreneur. And he works at Scania as head of e-truck solutions. And we also have cooperations with students and thesis workers. And for example, Daniel and Manne, they work extra with us with software development. And there's, of course, others that see the potential in the energy transition and electrification, and that are also aiming at this potential market. And our strength is that we have this experienced team that have developed and designed safety critical and business critical systems. We have a hardware agnostic and scalable system. Our share revenue model was contributing in fact that we won the procurement for Uppsala municipality, and we have strong partners that we can scale with. We have focused a lot on the transport industry, but this is a scalable solution that can be used in many other industries also. Just an example, we're running a pilot in Västerås together with Svealandstrafiken. It's a Swedish innovation agency finance project that we run together with leading industry partners, the academia, and innovative startups. And in this project, we're going to install 2 different types of energy storages. We're going to work with smart charging of 17 electric buses. And then we're going to offer the combined capacity to the balancing markets in Sweden and can create quite a substantial revenues from these markets. So, and we've so far been self-financed, but we are now running a seed round. So we are looking for investors, or if there's anyone in the audience, feel free to contact me. But we are also, of course, looking for partners and customers that are interested in adding smartness to their energy resources, and so they can create these revenue streams by supporting the energy transition. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and a lot of impressive partnerships you got going. And for the audience, feel free to post any questions you have in the chat, and I can get started. I'm really curious to know, you mentioned that the industry has really been opening up since 2019, and it seems to be a lot of things that are happening, and I would love to hear more about kind of the shift that's happening from before, I guess, 2019 and now. And you also mentioned that not many people knows about it, so curious to learn a little bit more.
Yeah, well, the balancing, the balancing market is or not the market, but the balancing itself is, of course, has always been active, because we've always had a need to keeping the energy grid in balance. Otherwise, things gonna start burning up. So that's kind of not new in any way. But as I said, the traditionally it has been the hydro and the large industries that have been active in this market. So it has been just a couple of actors in the market and or in this system, I'd say. But but they see Svenska kraftnät here in Sweden. They see a need for a lot of flexibility. They predict that they're going to need the size of 1.5 nuclear plant of flexibility to realize a completely renewable energy system here in Sweden. So to be able to get that type of flexibility in the market, then they have to open up for other resources. So because the hydro is already there and they are the biggest one, so they need to get the energy storage in, they need to get the chargers in, they need to get other types of flexible industries in this. So that's why they've opened up, and to do that, they also need to change a lot of the rules and the laws and stuff, and that goes quite slow, but they are really working on it. So it's a lot of things happening. It goes a little bit too slow for us. I mean, we want everything to move faster, but still, they are really trying.
Right. No, that's good, and I know that Sweden and Europe are really, like you say, pushing a lot of legal and law, but it does take time. So we have another question from Annika, and she says, are the innovation pilots in Uppsala and Sweden scalable into Europe?
Yeah, I would say they are, yeah, because the flex markets exist in many countries in Europe, and also these frequency balancing markets, they look quite similar in other parts of Europe. And countries like Germany, Great Britain, Holland, they all have these same challenges. Denmark, I mean, it's and many European countries have even bigger challenges that we have here in Sweden, because we have a quite stable energy system, and we have the hydro, and the hydro is super interesting because it is very good. It's a very good balancing resource.
Right.
So if you have a country with more fossil-based energy and you want to phase that out, then you're gonna have a bigger problem if you don't have hydro. For example, if you want to convert from say coal-fired plants to wind production, then you're gonna have a big problem with the balancing, because the wind is sometimes blowing and sometimes it's not. So then you have to balance the grid at all times, and then you have to have these balancing resources to keep the grid stable. So they're going to have even more challenges, like, for example, Germany and Denmark, probably.
So which countries do you think would be good for you to move into?
We're working in 2 research projects together with Swiss partners.
Okay.
So Switzerland is going to be one of the first countries that we're going to work with, and otherwise Germany, of course, is a big market for this. I mean, when you look at figures in Germany related to this flexibility, then it's so large numbers. So it's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So I would guess that, and Great Britain and the other countries that also are electrifying in a fast pace. So like, for example, the Netherlands and maybe Norway.
Awesome. Super interesting. And I have a lot more questions, but I'll have to save them because we're running out of time. But for anyone who wants to continue the conversation, you can meet Jonas in our 2D metaverse. So you just go to the link that is pinned at the top of the chat. And Margot, you can continue the conversation, because unfortunately we have run out of time and we got the next startup coming up on board, but feel free to continue the conversation. So thank you so much, Jonas, for the presentation. It was really great and really interesting, and I learned a ton of new things.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, see you.